On this episode, I have no idea how good this lighting is, but we're doing it anyway. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 23 of Tampa Tuesday. Special guest this week, Austin Cooper, runs the sobriety brand Sober Evolution. Really cool guy, met him a few months ago, had to have him on the show. Next week is Willie Lawson. He was supposed to be this week, but he was flexible and let us move him to next week. So I promise you that's going to be a great show I'm going to have for you guys. Okay, so this weekend is a big weekend, probably one of the biggest weekends for Tampa Bay every year, Gasparilla Weekend. So that means a whole bunch of different things for a lot of people. For people like me, it's like I'm trying to find ways to avoid the crazies. But if you're one of the crazies and you're always looking for something to do, I'm going to give you my recommendations on things that you might want to look out for. Okay, so first is you want a place that's actually decent and going to be memorable to actually enjoy the party from. And for that, my recommendation, I have two recommendations for that. Look at Ferg's Live, which is right across the street from the Amalie Arena. But also, don't forget about American Social over on Harbour Island. They opened about 2 months ago and they've been absolutely killing it in terms of word of mouth and just the overall atmosphere of the place. Their Facebook page says that they're going to be open from 4, they're going to be essentially hosting the party from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. So if you're more like me and you want the less crazy side of it, I suggest the afternoon part. But if you're looking for something absolutely on the closer to the insane scale of the Richter scale, then I suggest go ahead and hop over there later in the evening. It's not hard to find a whole bunch of events centered around Gasparilla, so here's my recommendation. Look out for boating companies. A whole different experience on the boat, on the water, than it is on the land. So my suggestion is get in touch with Tampa Bay Fun Boat, get in touch with the Pirate Water Taxi Company, and see if they have spots available on their boats that you can actually pay and actually enjoy it from the water. Okay, now for the rest of the weekend. I did find an outdoor movie. It's Moana, and it's Craig Park, and I believe it's free. That's gonna be Friday at 6 p.m. Also Friday, the indie market that we talked about last week is actually doing a night market this weekend. That's gonna be at 7 p.m. on Friday night, yes, 7 p.m. at Green Bench Brewing Company. Also Friday night, the sale actually does live music all weekend, but Friday and Saturday nights, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Check that out if you just want something to do. I'm sure there's gonna be a Gasparilla vibe out there, so they should actually have a pretty good lineup. Also Friday night, actually 8 p.m. to 12 a.m., Plant City, of all places, is going to be doing a food truck rally, a late night food truck rally in Plant City. Check that out if you want to be on that side of town. Okay, this Saturday, I know I brought up like 3 cars and coffees last show, but I had to bring this one up this show. Street Side Classics, which is an exclusively classic car dealership based in, it's actually in the Lutz Wesley Chapel area. They're doing a Cars and Coffee on Saturday at 9 a.m. If I don't have any work plans, I will be there because these guys have a great venue. It's a really, really cool place. You gotta check this out. Absolutely getting my recommendation for Cars and Coffee this weekend. Okay, so Saturday is obviously the official day of Gasparilla. All my recommendations from previous go for this. There was one cool place that I had never heard about that I'm also recommending for Gasparilla that you keep on your agenda. There is a Waterworks Cafe that is going to be doing Gasparilla themed events that I think actually just from what I saw online, it looks like they're going to be putting together a pretty good party. So for Sunday, if you want to get out of town, in Sarasota at St. Armand Circle, which is a really cool spot. If you've never been, you need to go just to go. But at St. Armand Circle, they're actually going to be doing an art festival. St. Armand Circle is already artistic enough all on its own. I imagine it's the sort of thing they kind of shut down the street, let art vendors come in and showcase their stuff. So you're always going to find unique stuff that you're never ever going to see again in those types of events. So I highly suggest if that's something that you're interested in, go check it out. All right, this is an event I've been waiting for a while, actually. If you're familiar with Wesley Chapel and the Grove kind of retail section that they have up here. They do events every once in a while, and they're actually surprisingly good. The event this weekend is the Wesley Chapel Chic and Vintage Market. Just the name is kind of interesting, but again, it's the sort of thing where you have this theme of an event, you bring in vendors, and they sell stuff that you will never ever see again for the rest of your life. So if you are the type of person that you like vintage themed items, this is an event I highly suggest you go to. That's going to be Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, I had to include this next event because there's a lot of Doctor Who fans in my life. On Sunday, there's going to be a Time Lord Festival. Yes, not kidding. Time Lord Festival. It's going to be 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's an all-day sort of thing, and that's going to be hosted at the Event Factory. Next event I want to tell you about, actually the Hall on Franklin. These guys have been absolutely bringing their A-game every time they do an event. They're calling this a recovery brunch because it's Gasparilla Weekend. Like I said, I'm not getting crazy. I'd just go for the food. Anything, look, brunch at the Hall on Franklin, shoot. A regular meal, lunch at the Hall on, breakfast, snack at the Hall on Franklin is good. They're going to be hosting a brunch on Sunday. It's going to be 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Quick reminder for all you hockey fans, the NHL All-Star Game is in town this weekend. It starts at about, the festivities start around 3:30 p.m. Amalie Arena. Just Google the rest of that. If you're interested, you probably, even if you don't want to go to the event, but you love hockey, you love the vibe. Go check out downtown Tampa. There's Champions Sports Bar and Grill at the Marriott Hotel. Great food there, and I like the atmosphere there as well. It's not too crazy. But between Gasparilla and the All-Star Game, it is going to be a busy weekend. Don't expect to find any free parking downtown. If anything, what I would recommend is park somewhere outside downtown, Uber in downtown, and Uber back. So that's my recommendation. And that's it for events this week, guys. As I said, special guest Austin Cooper from Sober Evolution. Follow him on Instagram, big time. And enjoy the show. My man, Austin.
All right.
Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Welcome, everybody. Tampa Tuesday, episode 23. I made it. I'm in a rhythm. I'm consistent. I'm doing good things, and I'm meeting good people. And so I'm here with my man Austin. What's your last name, Austin?
Cooper.
Austin Cooper. How can I forget that? That's such a cool name.
It's named after a car.
Right.
For those of you who caught it, not many people do, so good job.
There you go. Rock on. So, man, we met, about 2 months ago through the social media. And it was ironic. I want to use this meeting to prove a few points. There's a few real estate agents that follow me closely, and so I want to use this as a point to tell people, you and I, we had no connections whatsoever, no mutual friends, no, hey, such and such, and that's why I can talk to you. Literally, like, you just posted a comment, I commented below, and then comment to comment led to message, led to you and I actually met up in person, and I showed you a house. So, like, the whole actually building real relationships on social media, like, as taboo as people can think it is, it's real. Right. And it works, and you meet some amazing people. So, and you're one of the most amazing people I've met so far.
Thanks a lot.
And I seriously mean that. So I want to introduce you to my audience because first, just tell, do as quick as you can a recap on your story, and kind of what you're working on now. We'll get into that a little more.
Sure. So I actually grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and lived there for 28 years of my life. So I just moved about a year and a half ago to Florida, and before then my life wasn't really going the way I wanted to. So I had issues with alcohol and drugs, believe it or not, and I decided to go to treatment. And that was back in 2013. It really turned my life around. I was able to, reprioritize and really look forward to building my life on top of where it was at. So I spent a couple more years in Ohio. It had always been a really big goal of mine to move out to Florida, so I did.
Rock on.
A little before then, I decided to start something called Sober Evolution and really it was just trying to get out my pieces of wisdom that I had been learning in my own life in my recovery from drugs and alcohol. So I did that on Instagram, and I just built that up, and really shockingly, and I wasn't expecting it, it got really, really big to reach an international audience. Been able to do some pretty cool things because of it, and now I'm here in Florida enjoying life. And
that's just super cool. And to be completely transparent, you're the only person that I know personally that has been through recovery and come out like guns blazing successful kind of thing. Like, and it's rough for me because and I think you know a little bit about my story. Like, I grew up in a very sheltered home. But ironically, I didn't go all rebellious on it. I was just like, okay, these are the cards I've been dealt. Let me stop focusing on what I don't have. Let me focus on what I want out of life. And so, I'm super grateful for my parents for setting me on that footing. And I think that what's amazing to me is I have a complete outside perspective on your story and kind of what you've been through, but it doesn't stop us from connecting, which is really cool. But I do know that you've been kind of getting some backlash from your community, which is ironic because I would think that, to me, I'm like, dude, Austin, keep going. But so why don't you talk a little bit about the kind of battle and the little clash that you kind of have going on there?
Sure. 99.9% of the community I built, they're incredible and extremely supportive, and most of them are in recovery too, and a lot of them are building their lives and they're extremely successful and doing these incredible things. But occasionally there's the haters. I think that's what you're talking about there. I made a post the other day because it's interesting how, people with a certain mindset, even those in recovery, they may, go down or use a certain form of recovery that tells them to do things just one way, and that's the only way to recover. Well, I'm living proof that there's not just one path to recovery, but unfortunately, people get so caught up in that one path that they are going that they want to kind of become haters and think that's the only way and want to give me backlash for it. So it's interesting, but...
So do you think it comes from, their own failures, or is it...
I definitely think anyone who is going to spend the time reaching out and hating someone else because of their path, it really... I've learned all it is they're dealing with their own problems in life, and because they don't really know any way of coping with it, it makes them feel better to bash someone else or try to, bash someone else for something. And it all comes down to, bullying all the way back from, say, elementary school and high school. The only people who are doing the bullying are the ones who really have these severe issues going on in their life. And by projecting problems onto someone else, it's this defense mechanism, and it makes them feel better about their own problems. And you're going to see that anywhere. Anyone who is succeeding at anything, or the more outreach that you have, the more backlash you're going to get. But if you're building something such as yourself, you'll experience it too. But the thing is, 99.9% of the people are there supporting you. So forget about those other people.
And I'm not gonna lie, that kind of, it's terrifying and in a weird way exciting, because you're doing something right when you're bothering somebody. So for me, what that looks like is, actually, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I got fired from my first real estate brokerage I ever worked for. So here I am, I'm thinking, you know what, I want to sell brand new homes. That's my thing. That's gets the fire going in me, gets the light in my eyes going. And so here I am, I'm this brand new agent, and I realize if I got to sell something, it's got to be something that excites me. So I find new homes, and I'm like, this is exciting. This is what I want to do. I'm ready to go. Let's do it. And then I build this website. I spent some good money that I didn't have to build this website, and the website was kind of doing okay. And I show my broker, and my broker's like, okay, blah, 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 keep going, I like it. And then 3 months later, he's like, you got to shut your website down. I'm like, dude, I paid money that I don't have for this website. I'm not pulling the plug on it. We got to figure out something. And looking back, I don't know if he was angry I wasn't putting that effort towards him, or if he was jealous or whatever. But he ends up firing me. It was the best thing that could have ever happened at the time. And I still kind of get that pushback from agents that are like, oh, well, are you sure social media works? Yes, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm literally sure. I think that the problem is people don't see the results that they were expecting, kind of like what you're saying. Like, they'll run one Facebook ad and they're like, I'm done. Because I didn't find you on a Facebook ad. I found a post that you put up, and I was just like, let me find a way to add value.
Right.
And that was it. And then I got your attention, and then I was like, okay, well, let's see if I can start a relationship. And yes, it is kind of tactical, but at the same time, you can't do that without care. Like, I genuinely care about you. If I didn't care about you, I wouldn't have you on the show, because I'm going to spend like hours editing this thing, putting it together. So let me ask you a question that I've been thinking about. What can I ask Austin that's good, that I can leave with something positive? And I think that people are going to need as well. As soon as I turn the brightness up on this, because we're losing daylight pretty quickly. So, all right. So being that I'm like completely outside of your world, and I don't think for better or worse, that's just how things are, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. But I will, and I can think of people in my own life that I'm kind of like, do you need help? I'm not certain, because I know enough to know I can't make that decision for them, but how do I help that person?
Right. Yeah, it's tough, because, even I can't just point at someone and go up to them and say, you need help.
Right.
But I think, the best thing is just to let someone know that you're there for them if they ever experience problems, and just being a genuine person alone, I think goes a long way, because they're going to be more likely to reach out to you for help if they need it in any sense. Just knowing that you're a genuine person, you really do care about them, and of course there's so many, especially here in Tampa, so many treatment centers available, which not a lot of people know, because they're not, necessarily searching for treatment centers on Google.
It's not the thing you Google.
Right. But, I think just having resources available, such as people as myself.
Right.
But like I said, being that genuine person who really shows that you care about someone, if they are struggling, they're, again, going to be much more likely to reach out to you for help.
Right. And man, it all comes. I always notice every time I have a guest on, we always end up talking about the same thing. And I spent half an hour talking to Walter earlier today about how real estate agents, like, we have to be the same person we are in front of clients as we are in front of colleagues, because that's what gets people set. Like, when you go and you buy a car at a dealership, for a fact that sales guy that's selling you the car is going to go back and talk to the other sales guys and say, I just screwed these guys so bad, blah, blah, blah.
That's what it feels like,
you should have seen, and to their credit, not every one of them are like that. I think of this, there's this guy, Sean Hayes. I think he sells up in St. Augustine at a Toyota dealership. Great guy, like heart of gold guy. The same guy behind the curtain that he is out in front. But that's not the stereotype. And unless the only way for that stereotype to change is to just be a genuine human being.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and I experienced the same thing. I mean, obviously, being in recovery, there are so many stereotypes about addiction itself, which are just so untrue, and it's just lack of knowledge and things like that. But when you really do feel a person being genuine, you kind of listen more and understand them more and things like that. And it goes for, any industry. Industry where you need to help someone or have a service or a product, anything like that, it all comes down to being genuine. And, I keep seeing it time and time again with, people using social media to create sales, and it's just sales ad after sales ad after sales ad, and that just doesn't work, period. And
speaking of which, you know what I've been doing lately? For my ads, I don't ask for anything. I don't even ask for name or email or anything. That's what I'm doing now. I'm just giving out information. So I do this, I'm working on this one ad. It's like 5 things that literally, and that's where the idea I came out from you earlier with, the whole Zillow estimate.
Right.
Everybody kind of understands that Zillow's estimate on a home isn't accurate, but nobody knows what to do about it. So what if I put together the information of 5 steps to confirm a Zillow estimate, and then put it out there for free, and I don't ask anything. It's been one of the best responses I've ever gotten.
Oh man, I'm sure. I'm completely sure. It's the same thing I do with Instagram with Sober Evolution too. One, it's I'm telling my story, so people are getting to know me and they feel comfortable reaching out to me when they need help.
Right.
And I'm not, posting things like, subscribe to this or buy this or whatever it is. Of course I do have things that I can sell, services and products.
Right.
But I've got my website linked to it. If they really want to buy something, they can go straight to my link.
And a lot of that comes out of because you know why you're doing what you're doing. I think a lot of people, and I don't have anything against money. I just think that a lot of people, you chase money and you miss your destiny.
Right.
And I think it's so cool when you make that one tweak. It's like, okay, well, what do I want to do? It's like, real estate is not the dream job that I decided I wanted when I was 6. But I knew I wanted to be a pilot. And so I did that, and I realized that the people who are pilots, the best of the best, barely make enough to do in life what I want to accomplish. And like part of what I want to accomplish, there's this group of people that I want to help realize you guys got to stop living to pay bills. Like I think there's so many people in this world living to pay bills.
Oh, yeah.
And you miss out on life when you're doing that. But I want to put myself in a position where I get to tell you stop living to pay bills, but don't buy my stuff. Like actually stop living to pay bills. Like
right.
I'm not going to teach you how to do it. Just start going in the direction that you're supposed to.
Exactly. And I'm right there with you because, my biggest dream is to be able to work remotely around the world and be able to travel everywhere, anywhere, whenever.
That's super cool.
But, that's, of course that requires, money, but it's not the money that I'm chasing, it's a lifestyle,
it's the dream, yeah.
And I have to start somewhere. And my idea back in 2016 to create an Instagram and make it very, very big and large, I knew that might be a tool that could get me closer to my dream.
Right.
But I had to be passionate about Instagram and my page and Sober Evolution.
Right.
It's all about that passion.
Awesome.
And when you have those passions and those dreams and goals in the back of your mind, while you're accomplishing those intermediate goals, it just makes it so much easier and more fun.
Fun is key. Fun is key.
I agree.
Like fun. I agree. Alrighty, so it's getting dark enough. Just to let you guys know, we are at the attic, and Austin, this is your first time at the attic, right?
It is.
What do you think about it?
I love it. I want to hang out here all the time.
How cool is this view?
I know.
I might just leave it dark so that they can focus on the view.
The coffee drinks are great too.
Oh yeah.
So.
I got a vanilla latte. I like the white girl drinks.
Got their cold brew, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And I need a coffee shop to go to, and this is 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes from my office.
Right.
I think it's worth the drive. So.
Exactly. So they close at 7 most days of the week. Sunday they close at 4, but I think Friday they close at 9. So they're open later on Saturday or later on Friday. But what I love is just the view. Like as cloudy as it is, this view is still gorgeous. And if it wasn't cloudy, you'd see like this gorgeous sunset, and I took a picture. It's on my Instagram. It's one of the most engaged photos I've ever got. Nice. So if for nothing, come here for your Instagram.
Yes. Yes.
But other than that, thanks for coming on the show, my man.
Thanks for having me.
And next week we're gonna have Willie Lawson on the show. I know I teased you guys last week, and I told you Willie was coming on this week. But then Austin said he was available Monday, and I said, wait, I can film, edit, get that out for Tuesday. And Willie was kind enough to meet up with me later on in the week. So
I didn't realize that, but thanks, Willie.
Thanks Willie for being flexible. I appreciate you. I know you're my #1 fan. And as my good friend Willie Lawson always says, get out there, learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye now.